Hello and welcome to the party and welcome to our Monday night side quest where tonight we are playing a game of actual Cannibal Shia Labeouf, the goofiest, goriest one shot this side of Sacramento. Before we jump into the game and meet our beautiful players, I would like to give a huge thank you to our lovely and beautiful sponsors. Big thank you to Roll20 and Tabletop Loot, So Nerdware, and Devin Rue for sponsoring and supporting the channel. I believe the lovely and talented Fox will be typing sponsors, exclamation point sponsors into the Twitch chat, and you should be able to click on links in there and see everything. If you like what we are doing tonight or any other night, shout outs to our ways to give. So we have a Patreon, supports so much of what we do. And you can always do subs and bits during stream, and that will give you some awesome emotes. And it usually gives the players some extra benefits, but I'm kind of useless, so it won't tonight. But check out the Patreon info below. And as always, you can join us on our amazing Discord. It's one of the few places you can find me if you're interested in that. And even if you're not interested in that, there's lots of other cool stuff going on there too, like art and memes and geeky discussions and whatnot. So, with all of that out of the way, let us meet our beautiful players tonight. And we're just going to go across how everyone is on my screen. And I'll just get you to introduce yourself and say your name, who you're playing, and just one or two quick sentences about them. And we'll start with Meg.
Hello. I remembered this time. So I'm Megan, whatever. I am pretty much everywhere. You can find me on Twitter at Narnia's Pants, where I'm usually rambling about K-pop and be procrastinating about schoolwork like I'm doing today. I am playing Christy. I never came up with a last name, so it's just Christy. And she's skeptical about the paranormal and about there being like any actual like creature wherever we end up. None of us know where we are. And just in case, she has her little handy dandy like DIY like Swiss Army knife. And it's like an actual like switchblade with like a flathead screwdriver and a nail file because that's Christy. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Christy. And next we will go to Carly.
Hello, I'm Carly. I'm going to be playing Veronica Wormwood. She has been a big believer in ghosts her entire life. She collects haunted dolls. She believes herself to be a sensitive, so she like gets messages from the other side. You know how it goes. So yeah, that's her. She's traveling around with her buddies and ends up wherever we end up.
Which is a surprise that all of these players will find out about just after we are done with the introductions. Next, Bianca, tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, hello. My name is Bianca Zelda. I can be found on Twitter as Bianca Zelda, where I do podcast stuff. And I'm going to be playing Wentworth Okoro. He's a med student, carries around his cell phone a lot, doesn't really believe in anything that he hasn't seen himself. I can't research it online. Is it even real? What's the point even?
So everyone's names absolutely killed me, by the way, when you folks came up with these. Wentworth is so good. Wild, how about you? Let's introduce yourself and who you're playing tonight.
Yes, hi, I'm Wild Engineer. You can find me at Wild Engineer on Twitter and here a lot. Tonight I am playing Tommy Moreno. He is a, what do you call it? Let's call it like a ghost tracker kind of type, ghost hunter type. His claim to fame is when he actually caught a ghost on recording going, crazy, right? So, yeah. So he's carrying that around with him, and he's just gonna be around trying to be a social influencer, trying to convince everyone that ghosts do exist with his handy dandy Sonai # not an ad.
And then Wentworth will be able to research it online, and so they'll be able to spend time with it. So, and finally, last but not least, Devin, who are you playing? What's going on with you tonight?
I'm Devin. I can be found on Twitter at DonMcGoldenSun, where I talk about all kinds of RPG stuff. And I'll be playing Donnie Winthrop, who is a not a bit. He is a full-blown coward.
Yes.
He believes in just about everything that anybody will tell him. He's super gullible. Everything is real and horrifying to him, and he's hoping to face his fears and finally be able to live with himself by joining some paranormal investigators. But so far, it hasn't been going well.
Oh, my heart. Oh, poor frightened Donnie. And what is Donnie's item?
It's his childhood teddy bear, which he keeps in a bag that's always close to him, just in case monsters show up.
Wow.
So, that's so amazing, and I love it to absolute bits. So to set the scene just a little bit ago, we have basically two teams: Team Spooky, which is the believers, and Team Skeptic, which is the non-believers. And members of Team Spooky and Team Skeptic, you were all contacted couple weeks ago by a reality TV show producer calling herself Megan. And Megan was very upbeat, very chirpy, and she just wanted to let you know that there's filming a pilot for this new reality TV show in a big mansion in Sacramento, and that they would love for you to take part. And basically, they're going to let you all loose in this house and see whether or not the skeptics or the spookies can prove the existence of ghosts or not. Would you like to participate? And everyone was like, yeah, we would. So
Is there money involved?
there is totally money involved,
Great.
but not as much as there should be. So Team Skeptic, Wentworth and Christy, you are the first to arrive at this destination that they have sent you. And what kind of car are you folks rolling up in, and what is playing on the radio?
So I know I said I wanted a fancy car, but I don't actually know car brands at all. Christy, my dear, what are we even driving? I can't tell.
I want to say it's like a black Mercedes Benz, like the newest model. And I guess like what's playing? I don't know. Like what do you think like your music would be?
I'm actually a big fan of Ariana Grande. I'm fond of playing it really loud on the speakers and just singing along.
Okay.
Christy, I mean, I've subjected you to this
Okay.
music this whole ride, and you've said nothing. Are you telling me now you don't like Ariana Grande?
I mean, it's been 45 minutes, but it is what it is at this point.
It's been only one song we're listening to.
On loop.
Yes, it's wonderful. I think my voice improves every time. Don't you?
Sure, dear, sure.
And you two pull up in the driveway of this big country manor house that looks like something out of a Jane Austen film. Like you could totally picture Mr. Darcy on horseback riding along out the back somewhere. You can picture someone falling off a ha-ha and hurting their ankle. And just as you pull up, your car kind of gives a pop and a bang, and then it slowly judders to a stop without even having to push the brakes, and a little bit of smoke starts to come out from underneath the hood. And
Is this because it's one of those electric vehicles?
I don't know. I thought it was a hybrid. It should be fine.
Do you
I don't know.
want to go look? I'm afraid to get my shoes dirty right now.
Sure, I guess one of us has to have enough balls around here. And I get out and I go to check I pop the hood and I go look at it and I try to figure it out. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just as useless as you are, so I'm just staring at it. What do you recommend? Do we just need to like wait here and see what happens?
Are there any blinking lights?
Not that I saw, no.
Maybe
it just got overheated. Maybe we just need to let it sit for a bit and see what's up. I think we're here anyway.
How close are we to this Jane Austen building?
100 meters, 100 yards.
Okay.
You died at the beginning of the drive. It's not that far at all.
Okay, very well. I'm sure we can find somebody to come pick up our luggage.
Oh, for sure.
All right, let's go.
So you two decide to leave the car sitting where it is and start walking up to this amazing and beautiful house. We'll pause there and we will go to Team Spooky. Team Spooky, what car are you folks driving and what is playing on the radio?
Well, I believe it was a Pinto.
Yeah.
Totally.
And as for music, we've tried a couple of different things, but everything just keeps scaring Donnie too much because occasionally it'll get too loud or too boisterous. So we eventually managed to settle on Beethoven, but only on some of his softer pieces because they tried his Fifth Symphony and that just did not go well. So we're a nice, smooth piano rendition of Für Elise, and maybe some nice Mozart operas in mixed in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Classy.
Tommy and Veronica, how are you handling this very low, calm, classical vibe?
It's allowing me to kind of open my mind to the spirits. So I'm totally fine with it. I'm also the one driving, so I'm trying to like focus on the road while also opening my mind. It's a lot harder than people think.
And Tommy is sitting in the back, kind of, I guess he's talking to the group, kind of not really.
You have a ghost in there.
Was that a ghost? Yeah.
It's a ghost / devil cat, you know, how's it go? So he's kind of like, so, you know, in old recordings like this, they're often able to catch a lot of spirit voices onto the tracks. Like, you know, if you play this song backwards, you hear the song in verse.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Why weren't you driving again, Tommy? Because I'm not sure I'm happy with somebody who can be influenced by the spirits. Just
I can't
in charge of our own lives.
I can't live tweet if I'm driving, Donnie. I mean,
I'm perfectly capable of doing both driving. I'm not going to get possessed. Those walls are still up in my mind. It's more of like, I'm just allowing myself to kind of meditate, which is really just breathing. So like, it's fine. I'm fine.
And as you're sitting there breathing, you notice that the gas light has come on in your zen, relaxed communing with the spirit state. You have almost run out of gas, but fortunately, there is a gas station just up ahead.
We need to pull into this gas station because we're almost out of gas. I forgot my wallet at home. So.
Wait, did we need to bring our wallets?
So Donnie, you have cash for gas?
How much do you need?
I mean, I don't know how much it takes to fill up a Pinto, so.
I'm going to say you're about 10 miles away from this house that you've been sent to.
We need at least a little bit.
I think anything more than 20 puts it at risk. So, you know, no more than half a tank.
Okay, great. So like $20, $30.
I might have some money.
Thanks.
Let me reach into my bag, and it's a mess of just all kinds of stuff in there, and I'm just going to start rifling through everything, trying to find crumpled up bills that might be pushed all the way to the back.
I'll pull into the gas station as we get closer to it. Are we there yet, I guess?
We are at the gas station, and it is old school, fam.
Oh,
like,
boy.
It's one of the ones where you have to manually lift up the thing to even pull the gas thing out of the tank to put it into your car. And you can see the numbers flipping as you're filling up the tank. Like, there's no digital readout here. This thing is old. And as you look at it, there's like a sign over the top that says snacks and bait inside. This is based on a real gas station in my town, by the way.
Yes.
And behind there's an ancient cash register, like that, again, manual buttons, looks like it came out of the 1890s or something. And behind it is sitting an equally ancient man, kind of sleeping on his elbow on the counter. There's a TV that's playing some soaps blaring from the opposite side of the station, at the gas station, as you guys pull in and start filling up the tank.
Wait, did we have our cell phones and things like that? I forget.
You do have cell phones.
You know, Tommy, cell phones cause cancer.
I mean, technically, so does breathing, but...
What?
Oh, don't do that. We're never going to hear the end of it.
I mean...
Being alive is also dying if we really think hard about it, but...
Yeah.
You
Every
know.
day is one day closer to death.
Mm-hmm. It's fine.
Oh, they're terrifying.
I also would
Anyway.
just like to state on the record that speaking of, I actually don't remember if I said this on stream, but I went with Veronica because I was like, I need a good Winona Ryder character. So also picture her in Beetlejuice, and that's like what she's wearing.
Complete with the little spiky gel bang.
The weird bangs, yeah. She looks the part.
All right, so you are having this conversation through the window as you're pumping gas. What happens after that? Do you ever find the money? Do you just try and drive off?
I mean, he's asleep, right?
Well, Tommy's like at the front of the gas station with his cell phone. He's like, at this obviously haunted gas station, there is bound to be something we can hear. I think if you listen now, you hear that? That's got to be something.
And you hear the old man snoring from inside.
Veronica touches the gas pump and goes, I'm getting something. I think that there was somebody here. I don't know if they died on site or maybe they used to work here, but their name starts with a J. Maybe Justin or Jason or James or Jimmy. Oh, it's Jimmy. It's Jimmy. There was somebody named Jimmy who used to live here. Not here at the gas station.
Would be me, you hear from the background.
Oh, I thought you were dead.
Not yet, but you got
It's a
me.
zombie!
I'm Jimmy.
Can you come
Now,
back?
were y'all planning on paying for that gas? And the old man is there, and he's kind of got one eye like glued shut by sleep crusties as he's giving you a death stare with his other eye over the till.
Wants us to pay for gas with our brains. Back, zombie.
Donnie, do you have the money? You said you had the money.
Oh yeah. Here you go.
Thanks,
So,
Tommy.
where are you youngsters headed on this fine day?
We're going to that old house over there. A couple miles.
Oh, the old Stevens place, are ya?
Yeah.
Sure.
That
How many
place
peop-
hasn't been the same in the last few years.
Oh, how many
I'd
people
stay
died
away if I were you. Died?
there? Yeah.
What do you mean, died?
Well, I mean, it's a mansion, right? Just got to be like 100+ deaths in there.
No, it was just the Stevens that lived there. The parents were real weird, though, after the kids left. I don't even know what they started to do up there. You would just hear rumors about unspeakable things.
Is this whole thing just a spoof on the Even Stevens?
I literally connected just for right now, and I was like,
I am here for this.
Same.
There's more coming, fam.
Oh no.
Where was I? Oh yeah, old guy. Unspeakable things. The horses refuse to go near that place anymore, and if you had any sense, you'd stay away too. Mark my words.
Well, you heard the man.
We're going on to be on TV. Come on, this is going to be great. I'm sure it'll be a really enlightening experience, and I bet I can help those poor souls pass on to the other side.
Yeah, and whenever they say there's 0 deaths in a mansion, it means there's not been 100, but like 200.
Mm-hmm. Also, Jimmy, did somebody die at this gas station? Because the ghosts gave me your name, and I want to know who that could have been that told me your name.
Well, my dad owned it before me.
Mm.
He died.
Did his name start with a J too?
Nah,
Oh, well,
his name's
So-
Bob.
Bob. Well, thank you, Bob.
Is Bob the one going ooh in the background?
Oh,
before
it must
you
be
woke up?
Bob. I bet it's Bob.
Yeah.
Oh, it might be. I named my dog after my dad. He's Bob too.
Bob too, like Bob Jr. or like
Yeah, Bob too.
Amazing. Well, thank you for your advice, but we better go.
Yeah.
All right, you take care of yourselves now.
Have fun
And
taking your
don't
dad.
say I didn't warn you.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Have fun taking your dad out for walks.
He seemed seemed nice.
And so you folks continue on up the road and you drive up the driveway of this big mansion just in time to see poor Wentworth and Christy hoofing it up away from this car that has obviously broken down.
Is it the MIB?
It might be. Maybe it's that producer.
No, MIB doesn't believe in ghosts.
Are the windows down in your vehicle?
I feel like one is just stuck down. Just perpetually lower.
Okay. I will shout at all of you. Excuse me. Hey, you in the traveling object.
Yes.
Could you, by chance? I know it's 50 feet, but my toes are tired, and I would really appreciate a lift over there. I have some cash. $20?
Great. $20 is great.
Thank you. Can my friend fit in this view? It's a little cramped.
I mean, it's not a very far walk. If you don't mind just kind of squeezing in.
Oh, we can all go into the trunk. It's safe there.
Oh, would you be so kind? Thank you.
Sure.
Christy, come on in.
I hand Donnie the $20 because he paid for gas.
Oh, thank you, Victoria. I'm just gonna.
Christy just kind of like attempts to like sit on the back of the trunk.
You very, very slowly creep your way up the rest of the driveway so that Christy doesn't fall off the back of the car. And as you get up there, you see a note tacked to the front of the door. And it says, "Hi, fam. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I had to go around the back in order to take care of a few technical things. Just let yourself in. We'll get the director and the rest of the producers will be here in just a little bit. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, love you. Bye. Megan." So,
I don't know Megan, but I don't like Megan.
Neither do I.
This note read very, very chipperly. It was surprising. I think it was maybe the XO and the heart around the edges.
And pink ink. I just don't understand.
And it's
A little
scented.
tacky.
Scented.
Smells really nice.
Do you
Okay.
think she believes in ghosts?
do you folks head on into
Yes.
the Stevens mansion?
Yes.
We will enter.
So you enter, and there's a big, beautiful Beauty and the Beast-esque foyer. In the middle of this big Beauty and the Beast-esque foyer is a giant statue with the Disney Channel logo. And we just broke our producer.
Reasonably so.
Box is done.
And here we are.
Hashtag not
And
affiliated.
above the logo of the company that shall not be named is a big, beautiful Phantom of the Opera style chandelier hanging down over this double staircase. You see the two beautiful stairs going up to like the third story high, and there's a big balcony there. And just behind the staircases on the same level as you can see like big, huge glass doors into like a solarium thing. But there doesn't seem to be anyone here, and none of the lights are on, which is a little
This is a
weird.
laceration waiting to happen.
What would you like to do?
Turn on the lights.
Yeah. Are there any light switches along the wall?
Yeah.
There is a row of like 16 light switches by the side of the door.
Okay. One of you
Wentworth, you take 8. I'll take the other 8. Let's go turn this crap on.
I will supervise.
I like hell, but whatever.
So you folks start flipping light switches, and the results are extremely variable. Some of the lights seem to function perfectly, and some of them just like come on for a moment and then flicker and darkness again. And it's like totally unpredictable what's going to happen where. But, you know, there's probably nothing to worry about there. There's nothing ominous about flickering lights in a giant, apparently empty mansion. You're all fine.
I don't like this.
That
Tommy's gonna take out his.
Anybody
phone.
hear a slider that could maybe just mentally turn those on? I hear that's a thing.
What?
Slider?
that sounds made up. Have you talked to your doctor about that?
Oh, my doctor doesn't see me anymore.
What and what did you say your name was?
Donnie Winthrop. He came at me with a needle, and so I ran away and never went back.
As you guys
Oh.
are discussing this, you hear from outside the still open doorway this horrible blood curdling noise.
I'm gonna straight up Shaggy Scooby jump right into Wentworth's arms.
I'll catch you on reflex, but like I don't know what to do with you. My name is Wentworth. Nice to meet you.
The pleasure's all mine. Anybody else hear that?
As you guys are looking out the door, in the distance, you see a figure. It seems somehow familiar, but somehow different as well. And you can't quite tell, but the figure, it starts at a walk, and then slowly that walk gets faster and faster. And then down onto all fours it gets, and it starts feral, sprinting at you like some sort of werewolf, making its way straight for the door of this mansion that you guys are in. What do you do?
Run from the wolf man.
Slam the
tweeting.
door.
Is that the producer?
I don't think so. It doesn't look like a Megan, but I could be wrong.
Could I get Donnie to roll for blood to run away and Veronica to roll for blood to slam the door shut?
Sure.
Ooh.
Oh no.
And Veronica rolled a 6,
Of
which
course
is
I did.
higher than the number of blood tokens that you currently
10.
have.
Wow.
We needed that door to be closed.
Oh wow.
Devin also rolled a
What
6.
is this?
Well, that was a good stream, y'all.
We're gone. Bye.
So for the folks watching, all of the players start out with 5 blood tokens. Your goal is to roll underneath the number of blood tokens you have. So that is 2 fails.
Off to a good start.
Veronica, as you are trying to slam this door shut, you're just a little bit too slow, and all of a sudden, whoomped, this figure comes crashing into the door with his shoulder, and the door like smashes back into you, and you go flying back towards the wall, as in the doorway is this huge, steroidal, angry-looking, possibly naked Shia LaBeouf. And he sees all of you and pauses just for a moment, looking around like he did in that like crazy YouTube video performance that he did. And he spies Donnie. And he lunges and he grabs Donnie onto your calf, and just like he's biting into a chicken leg, just takes this huge chunk out of it. He's sitting there with blood dripping down his face. Blood is dripping out of this now giant bite mark that's come out of your calf. Poor Veronica, you are up against the wall, somewhat stunned and possibly with a broken nose from this door having hit you. What do you do?
Cries.
What the fuck? Oh god.
I would love to be able to take Donnie and drag them away to the nearest door. This seems to be my new buddy now.
BFFs.
Okay.
I
So
ship it.
Shia, sorry?
I was like, I ship it.
So Shia grabbed Donnie out of your arms and took a big bite out of his legs. Roll for blood to see if you can grab Donnie back out of Shia's arm and drag him to safety. 2. You
2.
successfully do it. So you grab Donnie and just jerk him, and with a primal force that surprises you, Wentworth. This is a part of yourself that you did not know existed until this moment. Wow, you feel a power and a rage unlike you've ever felt before. Whatever, doesn't matter. Get him to safety. You grab Donnie and you jerk him back into... Where would you like to go? Would you like to try and drag him up one of the stairs, out a side door, or into the solarium?
I would say out a side door.
Okay, you drag him out a side door. Everyone else, do you follow? Do you do something else? Do you scatter?
Oh, Christy ran head over heels and just went up the stairs.
Upstairs. Okay.
She went, nah.
Splitting the party already. Oh, yeah.
Stairs are the leading cause of death in the household.
So I was having to listen to
The
you for
sticks
5 minutes.
have
Bye.
confirmed that.
Oh gosh. What would I from my position kind of behind the door at this point, what would be the thing I would see first? Somebody going up the stairs or somebody being drug out into the side room?
Probably see someone going up the stairs first.
I would follow then.
So it's Christy and Veronica. And Tommy, how about you?
Right, Tommy's gonna try and start live tweeting.
So you just stand there.
Yeah, he's gonna stand there with his phone. He's gonna be like, as you can see, Shia LaBeouf has taken a bite out of Donnie, and he's not a ghost, so it's not that great. But there he is eating someone. Yeah.
Snoozeworthy.
Shia hears this from in the back of his mind somewhere, and he turns to you and he shouts, "I'm not famous anymore!" And he lunges at you, Tommy. What do you do? For anyone watching who doesn't know anything about Shia LaBeouf, none of this makes any sense, by the way.
No, I love this.
It's making me so happy.
If I can try to take a picture with my phone to blind him. Well, not to blind him, incidentally blind him.
Yeah, roll for blood. Let's see if this flash manages to get him off you. Rolled a 1. It does.
Dang.
So you snap a picture and he just goes, "Ah!" and covers his eyes and stumbles backwards, stumbling out the door of the mansion. And let's say that you manage to shut the mansion door behind and he's just on the other side screaming and grabbing his eyes and pounding his fists against the door. Oh,
So Shia's outside or inside?
Shia is outside at the moment, pounding on the door and shouting.
Okay.
So, and we have Christy and Veronica upstairs, Wentworth and Donnie out the side door, and Tommy is live tweeting in the foyer. This is like a really weird game of Clue.
What room will we go to next?
Oh.
Okay.
You saw it, right? That was a wolf, man. That was totally a werewolf. He just bit me. Look, ow, ow.
I've never actually read any research that confirms the existence of werewolves. Let me look at your wound. I am a medic. I am a med student. I have been in school for a long time. I'm pretty sure I can assess this. Just stop moving. You're whining too much.
Well, you know, the treatise that Van Helsing did was a pretty good, you know, this really hurts.
What room did we enter? Is there anything I can use as a bandage? Anything to kind of stop the bleeding?
So
I have a knife. We can just chop his leg off.
So
You're yes, I would take that.
you're
kidding.
not there.
Yeah, that's true.
So you
I
wound
can
up,
eat my knife.
and this is honest to God what I rolled. You wound up in the sauna. This
Hello.
Me.
This
great
house
for
has
open
a
wound.
sauna right off the main entryway for some reason.
You know, normal.
And there's like a little like getting naked area, I guess, before you go into the sauna proper, with like some nice white towels and stuff. And you can see coming in from under the door of the sauna proper, there's like a bunch of steam coming out of there, and it's already kind of nice and toasty in this little room.
My pores are opening. How about we wrap your leg in some towels and then we try to escape? How does that sound?
Are those clean towels?
I'm not sure. It doesn't matter.
Oh, it does though, because if they're not clean, then that's a very, very good chance of infection and all kinds of bacterial growth. Breeding ground for bacteria towels.
I am a med student. I know what I'm talking about.
I read an article that said that med students don't know what they're talking about.
Can you confirm the source of this article? Was it published in a scientific journal? Has it been peer reviewed? No. Let's move on. Sit down.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and try and do my best to like create a little tourniquet while also kind of bandaging the wound and applying as much pressure as possible. I'm not super. I haven't cleaned anything. I know mouths are disgustingly dirty, but I'm sure we'll have actual medical access eventually, and that's why I'm not particularly worried.
Okay. So after you clean up Donnie's wound, do you decide to move? Do you stay there? Do you go back out into the main entryway?
I assume there's like, is there a little window to peek out the door? Like a
to the main entryway.
From the sauna room, like, I see into the lobby or the foyer.
I'm going to say you can see into the sauna, and it's very pretty and white and full of fog. And the main entryway is, there's like a little round circle thing on the door offset from the one that goes into the sauna so that people aren't looking at naked. And you look out and you see Tommy standing at the door, like ferociously filming out through the glass of the front door.
I'm gonna peek my head out the sauna room door. Hey, you, other person I met in the car. But do you want your leg bitten?
Maybe.
Oh.
Okay. It might make for a good tweet.
Yeah. What's your handle? I'll follow you, and I can start live tweeting from here.
Oh, it's at Ghosts Are Real.
Ah, no, okay, man. Fuck that shit. I don't believe in ghosts.
Really? I mean, there's some pretty amazing evidence. I have some great audio evidence on there if you just,
He's right, you know.
Your guys' sense of priority are amazing.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we just saw a werewolf, and if werewolves are real, then that means ghosts are also probably real. And vampires.
I might have to reevaluate.
And demons.
That's going too far now.
Right, so you folks are arguing about whether or not ghosts are real and just kind of hanging half in the sauna, half in the foyer. Meanwhile, the two who ran upstairs, Christy and Veronica, you find yourselves, after going on the balcony, you find yourselves in a child's nursery. And it's really quite pretty. And very classic, like there's a rocking horse with a baby doll on it. And there's a tea party on a little kid's table there. And there's like a little kid vanity with like makeup on it and dress up clothes next to it. What would you like to do?
This doll, is it like a porcelain doll, like a creepy looking doll, or like a American Girl doll kind of baby doll?
Oh, it's totally a
American
creepy
Girl dolls
looking
are creepy
porcelain
too.
doll.
What?
Like the kind where you can tilt its head back and its eyes will close, but as soon as you tilt it forward, they're wide open and staring again.
Okay, I pick it up and I take my pendulum out and I hold it over the doll and I say, is there any spirit in this doll right now? And it does something and she goes, there's totally a spirit in this doll. I am going to take care of you and I'm going to help you find comfort and go to the other side. But first, can you tell us if Shia LaBeouf is coming back? It says yes.
And as you look down at the doll, you could have sworn that as you were holding the doll, its eyes were up and facing you and wide open. But as you look at it, its head has twisted completely around on its body so that the back of its head is facing you now.
Oh, this is definitely a haunted doll. It'll look really good next to Penelope on the shelf.
So, and the doll in your hand, its head continues to turn until it starts looking at the side over to where that little child's vanity is. And you turn and you follow its gaze and you see behind the mirror that it's not actually a mirror, that behind it is in fact a crawl space. And looking out of that crawl space is, yeah, you guessed it. It's time for a Shia surprise. It's Shia LaBeouf. And he jumps out of this children's mirror at both of you because it's not a very big nursery. What do you do?
Open the door and leave.
The smartest one among us here.
Roll for blood to try and run away. How about you, Veronica? Yep, I'm looking at my roll. Dang, you are just rolling like great. You run away. Like, How about you, Veronica?
I want to take my pendulum and like rodeo, swing it above my head and chuck it like I don't even know what that weapon is, but like, throw it at him and see if I can do anything with it.
Like a mace.
I want this to work so badly. Please roll for blood.
I really want it to work too. That would just be really cool.
Yes, it does. Describe what happens when this pendulum of dubious magicality strikes Cannibal Shia.
I want it to like get him in the eye. I feel like it was just perfectly timed. Like you see bullet time and this thing goes pew, right into his eyeball.
And the bottom of the pendulum does indeed, and you like see it hit right in the pupil as the eyeball just like splits and like gore comes like gushing out, and it looks kind of like if you ever had a Cadbury cream egg as a kid.
I'm into it.
If you when you took that first bite, if it had been left in the car and it just kind of ran down the side a little bit.
Yep. Sugar.
That's what this looks like.
Eyeball.
And Shia kind of roars back, and he's again blinded. You guys are very good at blinding my Shia.
Now he has negative depth perception.
Have fun with that. Yeah, now I know what it feels like, huh? So while he's so disoriented, what do? You
run out.
You run away. I'm going to
Shut
get you
the
to
door.
roll for blood again to see if you can
dear.
successfully run away from broken Shia.
Okay. Wait.
Or-
No, because I have 4.
And you have 4 blood tokens.
Shit.
Oh. Now you have 3.
I do indeed. Going great for me, guys.
Oh, you get to the door and you're running and trying to close it again. And just as you get there, it's that classic horror movie moment where coming up around your feet, wachunk, 2 hands, one covered in eyeball gore, just grab your ankle and pull you backwards. And you're being pulled backwards into this nursery, like clawing at the ground and screaming. Christy, you can hear this behind you. What do you do?
Keep running. I ain't stupid.
You gotta save yourself.
Shit, I'm out.
So, Veronica, do you shout anything out to Christy as you're being pulled backwards?
Yeah, help. Just
So you're shouting help as you're being dragged backwards by Cannibal Shia. Christy, you turn around just in time to see poor Veronica get dragged back and the door closes. And you just hear the most awful, like blood-curdling scream and these most like think terrible vampire movie from the 80s, like Anne Rice stuff. Like slurping noises that you could ever possibly imagine. And we will pause right there and head back downstairs.
pause.
All right. So, Wentworth, Tommy, and Donnie, you folks are standing out the door of the sauna and arguing about social media and ghosts. That sentence. When from upstairs you hear this awful scream. You hear this woman that some of you know going, help me, and then you hear this horrible door slam scream, and some like the noises seem loud enough to hear down here, which should be impossible, but it isn't because it's a horror movie. What
Weird
do you
acoustics.
Veronica's been turned into a banshee.
I'm not sure that's how it works, but I don't have any science to back it. Okay, we need to decide. Do we want to catch Shia? Do we want to kill him? Or
I just want to live.
You're not there. Or did
Christy,
you run
hi?
away back downstairs?
I think while all of that discussion's happening, like, wouldn't I just be like running across the banister to the other side?
So you're running back and forth upstairs.
Yeah,
like a
I'm
duck.
going from West Wing to
Gallery.
East Wing, and I'm just like, I just want to live.
Oh, hello, Christy.
Okay.
We'll
Fight
focus
me!
on you in a moment. I would love to capture this man. I think we could use his body for science. What are your thoughts?
Well, My post's not getting as many likes as I would have hoped, but I guess we can capture him.
I mean, what if you got to take a selfie with his unconscious body?
I mean, based on my post,
It is
maybe
still.
if he's right, he's not famous anymore.
What if we put a paper bag over his head?
Oh, I heard. Yeah, that might work.
Okay. So, Tommy, you're in. Donnie, what do I have to do to convince you?
I mean, I think we should just go. We should save Veronica, and then get out of here.
I don't see any gain in that.
I do.
Wait, so you want to capture Shia? And
Aren't you a doctor? Aren't you supposed to be about preserving life? Well, if you want to preserve lives, we should get the hell out of here.
I'm also about capital, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, I'm gonna lead. Okay, so around us, are there any objects that can be used as a weapon? Like, this is an old house. It's maybe got some like vases, some busts. Oops, I smacked my mic. What else we got in an old house?
Yeah, so in the foyer, there's not heaps. There's like a grand piano under one side of the stairs. Standing just either side of the door. One side of the door is a little model of Bumblebee. On the other side is Optimus Prime. And the Optimus Prime thing looks like you could pick it up and possibly hit someone with it. In the little sauna room, there's like the little squirty bottle with eucalyptus oil that they put on the rocks in a sauna. Don't they do that?
Yes. I've never really been in a hot.
I was like,
stone
I'm too
sauna.
broke to give you a correct answer. So.
Like it's probably just like a well with a ladle, so we can carry a ladle full of water.
Okay, yeah, there's a well with a ladle, and so there's a very sturdy looking ladle, and a bucket of water. Who knows what that bucket of water can do? That's kind of it for these two rooms, but there are lots of other places that you could explore and see.
If he's a witch, the bucket of water might melt him. I saw
Donnie?
that once.
Yep. You know what? Here, we're gonna have you help. You want to grab that ladle and bucket, Tommy? Pick up Optimus Prime.
Be careful with it. That's a collector's edition.
Hey there, come here often.
What? No, this isn't Optimus Prime. Prime with a semi-truck.
I'm not really into your nerd shit, so. Sorry, was there something else that I could also use as a weapon, or was it just those two things?
There was a figurine of Bumblebee on the other side of the door.
Cool. And I'll pick up Bumblebee.
Okay, so armed with a bucket of water, Optimus Prime, and Bumblebee, you head upstairs.
And a ladle.
And a ladle. And you head to the door where you hear these horrible noises coming from the other side. What do you do?
I'm gonna open the door. Donnie, toss the bucket of water. I'm gonna throw Bumblebee. Tommy, go in, grab Veronica, stab him with Optimus Prime, and we will use the ladle as a defense weapon if we must on the way out.
Why do I have the ladle?
Don't worry about it. I mean, I just made a plan. Like, I've done enough work. Let's just execute it.
Yep. I'll get all three of you to roll for blood to see how well this plan goes.
Does anybody agree? Sorry, this was just like I just tossed this at you. I would like your group vague consent. And like poor Christy is still running around the balcony. I'm like, is she okay? I just want to live. Yeah, sorry, to Tommy and Donnie. Plan-wise, like, are you...
I mean, Tommy's just like, fine, but as long as I can record it.
Tommy's not really known for being a leader, and personally, I think you're pretty good at it, so...
Okay, so that's Wentworth's roll.
Oh. Wow.
Wow.
Okay, if I'm the only one that survives this, I quit.
Can you tell me how how badly did we fuck this up?
That's pretty stunning.
3 6s, like extraordinarily bad.
Let me.
God.
Okay. Oh, the blood is flowing, and I absolutely adore it.
What, 3 hours? We're all gonna be dead so quick. So quick.
So, Wentworth, you open the door, and Donnie, you go to throw the bucket of water, and you throw it all over Wentworth and Tommy, including soaking Tommy's cell phone and voice recorder. Yeah, that phone is dead, fam. It's gone. And as you do this, the door is now open. Shia, who has been there, has been like eating Veronica. Like, he's got her down on the ground and he's like digging her guts out and just like shoving handfuls of them into his face. As Veronica is like trying to stuff the guts back into her.
Classic.
Because why not? But he sees this and he sees you standing there soaking wet, all 3 of you, and he lunges for you. And Wentworth, you were the one who opened the door, so he sees you first. And he comes up and he goes straight for the face and eats your face.
Oh, no, my beautiful, beautiful face.
Beautiful, beautiful face. And he just reaches up and like takes a big chunk out of your cheek and pulls it away. And all of a sudden, like, blood is splurting. Bleh, bleh, bleh. And like every time you talk, you can kind of see the muscles inside your mouth working a little bit.
Feel more of my teeth. They're nice teeth. They're just more exposed now.
Yeah. But he doesn't even pause. He just like grabs us and throws you inside the room next to Veronica, lunges for Tommy, and it's just like totally Interview with a Vampire, just goes and takes like this great big chunk out of your neck and shoulder. Just like this huge bite, and he's standing there and he's like staring at you as he just eats your own flesh in front of your face while you are mourning the loss of your poor cell phone. Oh no.
Emotional and physical pain.
A lot. There's so many layers to your suffering, my friend. And as he's doing this, Donnie, let's say that you try and run away and he sees this, but you can't. Someone in my building is making dinner. There's no actual fire.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you get a second during break, you should check out one of our amazing sponsors. We're now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the best virtual tabletop for all your role-playing needs. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with more modules than you can shake a stick at on their new revamped storefront, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. Sign up today by clicking the link below or heading to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Tabletop Loot is an amazing place to get your dice bags, dice boxes, and more. And now you can get 15% off your purchase at tabletoploot.com by using the code WTTPDICE at checkout. Tabletop Loot. Your party starts here. While you're at it, check out our so awesome merch store, So Nerdware. So Nerdware is the place to find all your Welcome to the Party merch and other amazing stuff too. Head on over to sonerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware. It's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, the amazing mistress of maps, has kindly supported the channel since the beginning and provides graphics for many of our streams. Head on over to rueinc.com to check out some of the best fantasy cartography on the web. Our Patreon supports the creators and producers of the channel by providing Roll20 subscriptions, cost coverage for video hosting, and more. If you want to support the channel while getting podcasts a week early, gaming articles that are published on Patreon first, a shout out during our break, and more, head on over to patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg and throw us $1 or $5. And last, but certainly not least, help out the party. Subs and bits not only support the stream, but also every 500 bits or a Tier 1 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a reroll or system equivalent. And every 1000 bits or Tier 2 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a crit or system equivalent. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. The game will be back in just a few minutes.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Whoa.
Hi, fam. Sorry about that. Our building hates chili powder. Everyone in the building is fine. No one is dead. We just have overly sensitive smoke alarms. But even more pressingly, we do have players that are in imminent danger and having faces eaten. So we should get to that actual excitement and not the artificial excitement of bad smoke alarm design. So, Tommy, you have just had a bite taken out of your shoulder, and Donnie, you are trying to run away, but you are somewhat hampered by the fact that you are missing half a calf muscle on one side. And Shia sees this, and he soccer dives for you and manages to slam himself into you. And he's just going to go for the other calf now. He wants you to not be able to run away at all. So, again, big old chicken leg bite coming out of there. I'm gonna have to think of more descriptive ways to talk about people biting each other, I think.
I like the sound effect. I think it's great.
Yeah, that's really what makes it.
So he is just chowing down on your other leg now as you are still scrabbling, as you and he are wrapped up together on the floor. What do you guys do?
Well, I still have the ladle. I can try and smack him a bit with it in desperation.
Great. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to do too?
Simultaneously, I would like to beat him with Bumblebee.
Yes, I'm so happy.
I mean, you gave it to me. How
Yeah,
could I not use it?
Can I get you both to roll for blood again?
I'm terrified to roll. Oh, hell
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, okay. So like while that's going on, I see the chaos happening. And Gracie's like, all right, cool. I can do this. And she like super cool, like 1950s style, just like whips out the switchblade and just like runs and like lunges while they're like whacking him with their Power Rangers. What the heck?
Transformers? We're the group that joins to make a giant robot.
That was really funny.
My brain was like, no. Why'd you say that? Transformers. Sorry. Wrong cartoon. And
How very dare you?
I know. And so she like runs and goes to just like stab Shia LaBeouf like into the neck, like right into his jugular.
Kidney.
Yep. Roll for blood. Let's see how you do with your knife stabbingness. Chris. Oh no, Christy.
You know, I've seen better stabbings. You know, by a doctor.
I'm sorry, who's the one bleeding out?
Donnie
of us.
currently.
A lot of people.
Probably everybody now.
So Donnie, you go to smack him, and you smack him with your ladle, and it's like bad stunt acting 101, where like smack, just no reaction whatsoever, and the ladle goes flying, and he doubles down, and like at this point he's gotten both of your calves. He's feeling pretty happy with that. So he just grabs your thigh and gives it a wrench and just like pulls your entire leg out. And it's like,
Is it the leg that I did all that work on?
yes.
Damn it, Tommy!
Rude. Shia LaBeouf is rude.
Shia LaBeouf.
There's just going to be so much screaming.
So he is holding your leg, and as it's at that moment that he manages to wrench the leg free, that Christy comes up with the knife and she brings it down to stab, but this leg is flung up behind him, and all that he does is stab Donnie's now dismembered leg. And Shia is there just roaring with fury and pain. Does anyone else have something that they would like to try?
How beautifully successful was my bumblebee attack? I got a 1.
Oh, that's right. You did get a 1. Thank you. Your bumblebee attack is beautiful. As he brings this leg back, you bring this statue of Bumblebee down, conk, right on top of his head. And it's like that moment in The Princess Bride where Andre...
Yes.
where Andre the Giant hits the albino guy and he just goes boonk. There is now an unconscious Shia on the floor holding Donnie's severed leg with Christie's multi-tool stuck into it.
I've passed out at this point.
Yeah.
That tracks.
One would hope.
Dude,
A lot of shock and pain to
I'm
endure.
holding all of my intestines in.
Oh my god, yeah.
I don't know how Veronica's still alive. I'm just
I don't know either. By all rights, this does not make sense.
I didn't lose any vital organs or like any major arteries. I can't talk. I might be drooling a lot.
Talk, but
Yeah.
it's gonna sound a little
Oh
bit
yeah,
funny.
there's no way I can actually speak properly anymore. I've lost half of my lips.
Oh, no.
Very beautiful.
I think while I'm passed out, I've got one hand squeezing inside my bag, and the other one just like sort of remnant of where I was trying to smack him. It's a very awkward position.
Oh. Does anybody have a rope we can tie unconscious Shia LaBeouf up in?
What do we see around us?
Why don't we just kill him?
I mean, we can do that too.
Cool. And
Stab him with your knife.
Yeah, just
Why are you so practical? I've never had a player like you. You run when you should run. You fight when you should.
this is the one and only time that will ever happen. Go back and watch the other streams. It doesn't happen often.
Okay.
So Shia is unconscious. People are bleeding. If you want to find stuff, there's stuff right inside the nursery there. There's like bed sheets on a cot. There's probably all sorts of like fancy scarves and stuff in the kids' dress up thing. Or you could just stab him with your knife.
I just want to stab him with my knife.
Wait. Tori needs a selfie. Here, Tori, you can use my phone. I promised you. Come on.
It's okay if I log out of your Twitter.
Yeah, that's fine. I got it.
Again, while all
don't
this
say
is
anything
happening,
weird.
I just
I'll just
Out of the
make sure
leg.
you follow me first.
Oh, good.
Hopefully I'll get at least 5 more
Arm
likes.
that's not been out of by your neck.
It's a good look, the giant gouge in you.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to suffer for art, right? I think I would understand.
Isn't Shia? I didn't watch a lot of TV growing up. Wasn't he that dude from that one like movie Disturbia or whatever? That weird horror movie. It was really bad. I only watched horror movies growing up.
And Carrie Ann Moss played his mom? What?
I think you just drive a tank. I just saw him drive a tank in some movie. It was weird.
So you've got your selfie,
Mhm.
and as you get your selfie, does the flash go off, or is it brightly lit up enough here that you don't need it, or describe this for me? How are you posing with him, for example?
You on the
He's
ground?
gonna he's gonna grab Shai's head, put it next to the bite mark, and be like,
You're wonderful.
Yes.
Why is that the best thing I've ever heard in my life?
So, as you bring the camera up and snap the picture, you get the picture, but Shia suddenly like crumbles into dust in front of you, and suddenly he's not there anymore. And you're just standing bleeding on this landing of this giant even Stevens mansion house. And you look at the picture that you've just taken, and yeah, it's Shia, but man, there's something really odd about it. There's something, it's almost like the camera can't focus, and it couldn't focus on him. But what's more is you look at the area around where he bit you and a couple of others, their injuries are in the side of the photo, and those bits are kind of going all blurry and strange at the edges as well, almost like the camera can't quite handle whatever it is that's going on there. What would you like to do?
I need a doctor.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. Maybe the intestines. What?
No, I'm the intestines. He's the leg ripped off.
Okay, intestines first. I just gotta like pile them back in.
Thanks. Do you know more or less?
I think while Wentworth is putting Veronica's guts back in, Tommy's going over to her and he's like, hey, do you think this picture is tweet-worthy?
I mean, you can't really tell what's happening.
Yeah.
But I mean, it looks kind of ghosty. You could get away with it as a ghosty thing.
Oh, that's true. I could cut it like it's a new thing. It's EVP. Like it's a picture.
That's electronic voice phenomenon. You need a photo thing.
No, it's electronic video phenomenon now. So. Yeah,
we're rebranding. I see.
Yeah. I'll make it a new thing, and then I'll be famous for that.
Can somebody find my pendulum while my guts are getting put back?
Oh yeah, Christy, can you take that out of his eye?
He's not there anymore.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
Oh no, I can't. It's quite difficult. How am I supposed to lead like this? My pride.
I bet
so we'll say that when Shia evaporated into dust, the pendulum fell onto the floor where he had been, kind of down near Tommy's feet.
Okay, so I pick it up and just be like, you mean this? And like I just kind of dangle it over her head.
Yes, that. Can I have it back, please?
As you dangle it over her head, all of a sudden it's spinning in this like crazy like pentagram over the top of Christy's head, or over the top of Veronica's head.
Oh, that's not a good sign. That's a really bad sign. Oh no.
I'm trying to heal her with science, not with dark magic. What are you doing?
Listen, Two-Face, like, shut it.
I get that reference.
I would hope so.
That man was incredibly popular. I don't really want to talk to a demon, and it seems like you're channeling a demon.
It could just be a ghost.
I'm ready for this demon.
I mean, demons are like really bad ghosts, sorta, but like way worse.
I mean, only if you insult them. You just gotta woo them.
Well, since you're holding the pendulum, why don't you ask it a question? Maybe it'll talk to you. If it moves back and forth, it's a yes. If it goes side to side, it's a no.
Excuse me? Could you maybe heal my comrades, please? They're kind of bloody and gross, and I don't want to touch that. Wentworth isn't worth much. Can you just kind of help us out here?
And it is like a magic 8-ball. You know how there's like yes, no, maybe. It kind of spins in a circle, which you get the feeling means maybe.
whatever this ghost is, it's a dick.
Yeah.
The pendulum just flies and smacks you in the face. That wasn't me, I swear.
Now I've also got a black eye on top of no guts.
And you get the feeling that this ghost thing can help, but it's going to be really limited in scope what this ghost thing can do.
I will take anything. Come on.
And
Do you want a little leggy?
the ghost thing goes, yes, very eagerly.
Wait, are we gonna give it Donnie's leg?
Is that
It's gonna eat his leg.
Maybe.
Is that legal tender?
I thought I wasn't. Do you want Donnie's leg?
And it goes, yes, up and down very, very frantically.
All right. And I take it over to the leg.
And it touches the leg, and as it touches the leg, let me roll.
This is not what I expected to happen.
This is great.
I was ready to sew that back on.
This is also not what I expected to happen at this point, but that's why I have randomized tables. 5. Okay, just a sec.
Reaction.
Oh no.
So,
Oh dear.
so as the crystal touches the leg, Donnie, you manage to wake up. And as you wake up, you see your leg is staying in about the same size that it was, but it appears to be changing substance, and it's like transmutating. And as it is doing so, it is turning into a giant ass fancy sword.
Ooh, we have a cool sword now.
We have a cool sword now.
Is it the same size as his leg?
Yep, it's the
Oh
same
my
size that
God.
Donnie's leg used to be.
Legs are long.
Me?
Can you attach the
That's about
sword?
the right length for a sword.
Mhm. It's so perfect. I can't believe that's what I rolled. Yeah. So now,
Who's getting a sword?
I think legally
Obviously,
that's
the only one
mine.
who's tried to kill anything.
Yeah, don't you still
Yes,
need
it is
to-
Johnny's.
We still need to reattach it to Donnie.
Can we attach it to
Donnie,
his stump?
Do you? I think I have the technology.
No.
like in that Tarantino movie where the girl has the gun leg.
Yeah. He can just swing it and cleave people in half.
Donnie, are you that flexible?
Well, you'd be surprised how running away can do for your gams.
Okay, so my only like metagame concern is I think Donnie has the least amount of blood points.
Mm-hmm.
So giving him perhaps this ultimate weapon, like if we can pick him up and use Donnie as a weapon, I think that kind of solves that problem.
Gee, I don't know, Wentworth. How much can you carry?
I mean,
And
he's already jumped in my arms so
Yeah,
far.
it's
That's
happened
true.
once so far.
Yeah, I can carry Donnie.
I mean, I can't exactly walk right now, so
Oh, with your new leg, you'll be fine.
Sword leg.
Do I have to roll to?
You will have
Getting
to roll
stuck in the
to
wooden
see if
floorboards.
this will work. Oh, I hope this works.
That or
Me
it's going
too.
to be an abomination of a surgery.
You can put this into the medical journals
Who?
one way or the other.
It works.
Some heckin' how?
I don't know how this works, but somehow you take stuff from the kids' nursery and you manage to stuff, you take a kid's teddy bear and stuff it into his open wound so
As you
it's
do.
gauze.
I
And
use
then-
the what do you call thread from the teddy bears? Just with no needle. It was strange how skilled I am at this. I threaded that through his skin. I used nothing but the button of a teddy bear eye. I'm basically a doctor god at this point.
And you
You're gonna be famous.
MacGyver the shit out of this. And Donnie now has a giant sword leg.
Yeah.
I had a dream like this once.
Can you walk?
Oh, you'll be fine soon.
I might need to get the hang of this.
Well, it is just a sword, so you're just like the $100 man.
The $100 man.
Be kind of hard to run away like this, but I guess it'll do.
So,
Now, see, you are now our weapon. You don't get to run away. Oh, wait, what happened to my knife?
you said that you took it back at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you pulled
'Cause
it out.
Oh,
his
yeah.
leg.
I like.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot.
With those exact sounds.
Yep.
Yes.
So what's gonna happen now is if we need something, one of us has to just kind of like kindergarten spin you, so like hold you from like behind and just
Woo!
and hope you can control that
Just
chaos a little bit.
Yeah, one leg. Just keep one leg out. That's all we need.
I can do that.
All right, cool.
So you folks are up on the 3rd floor of this mansion. Let's kind of pick where do you want to go next, and then we'll probably set up that scene and figure out. And then it'll roughly be time for break at that point, I think. So,
How about we leave?
Yeah, so I was gonna say to the car.
End game now.
so your options are you can go back downstairs and get in the Pinto and try and drive away. You looking up at this part of the mansion, there is like a whole hallway with lots and lots of doors on either side, and down at the far end it looks like there's an elevator maybe. That might be a little easier than taking the stairs. It looks kind of
Hell
like
no.
Do you know what can happen in an elevator?
Wait, should we try and find Megan? Because
Damn it! I was like, I'm right here. Wait.
I'm sorry, Meg. I promise there's a payoff for that joke.
I mean, he's dead, right? Like you guys got him.
yeah,
So
and she was supposed to give us money.
I don't care anymore.
I mean, we do also need a hospital really badly. Like
Veronica,
really
you're not
badly.
looking too good.
No, I'm not. Thanks.
You're
None
like,
of us are. We all look like
eggshell
shit.
white.
She promised to
Speak
pay
for
me
yourself.
in Steven's exposure.
Mm.
Oh.
Okay. Are we able to shuffle our way to the car?
Unmirth, do you have any leftover string?
Yeah, a little bit. What do you need it for?
I need to make sure that this sword strikes true.
Do you want to wrap it around
No,
the
I just
sword
need.
for good luck?
No, I just need string.
Oh, okay. I'll hand over the string that I have.
I'm gonna tie my teddy bear to the hilt.
Oh.
Cool.
Now
That's the
it
cutest
is
thing I've ever heard.
the ultimate monster slayer.
Yeah.
Can you please describe what does this teddy bear look like? Because you've had it for ages.
It's very old. It's got like one of its eyes is kind of dangling out a little bit. It's got several little stitch marks where it's been repaired constantly. Some parts have been lowered in the fluff. Some parts have been increased in fluff as different repairs have been done. There's like a part of its ear has been completely chewed away because when he gets nervous, he would chew on the ears. So the ears are all chewed away. And it used to have corduroy overalls that are just basically just scraps still stuck in a few spots where they've been sewn on.
I can just picture your like mom or someone sitting there trying to sew this thing back together and like cursing the sewing needle, being like, "Why the fuck does he want this teddy bear?" Yeah. So you get. Does your teddy have a name?
William.
William. So you have strapped William the Monster Slayer to the hilt of this sword, and you all slowly limp
Sir
your
William.
way. Sir William. Oh wow!
Mhm.
Forgive me. Forgive me. Yes. So Sir William, Donnie, Tommy, Wentworth, Veronica, and Christy all slowly start limping their way back down to the foyer of this mansion, making their way towards the Ford Pinto parked out front. And I think with that, we will take a little bit of a break. So a big thank you again to our sponsors. Before we head out to break, let me pull up my document that says what I should say. And we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. So thank you all.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you get a second during break, you should check out one of our amazing sponsors. We're now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the best virtual tabletop for all your role-playing needs. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with more modules than you can shake a stick at on their new revamped storefront, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. Sign up today by clicking the link below or heading to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Tabletop Loot is an amazing place to get your dice bags, dice boxes, and more. And now you can get 15% off your purchase at tabletoploot.com by using the code WTTPDICE at checkout. Tabletop Loot. Your party starts here. While you're at it, check out our so awesome merch store, So Nerdware. So Nerdware is the place to find all your Welcome to the Party merch and other amazing stuff too. Head on over to sonerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware. It's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, the amazing mistress of maps, has kindly supported the channel since the beginning and provides graphics for many of our streams. Head on over to rueinc.com to check out some of the best fantasy cartography on the web. Our Patreon supports the creators and producers of the channel by providing Roll20 subscriptions, cost coverage for video hosting, and more. If you want to support the channel while getting podcasts a week early, gaming articles that are published on Patreon first, a shout out during our break, and more, head on over to patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg and throw us a buck or $5. And last, but certainly not least, help out the party. Subs and bits not only support the stream, but also every 500 bits or a tier 1 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a reroll or system equivalent, and every 1000 bits or tier 2 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a crit or system equivalent. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. The game will be back in just a few minutes.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hello and welcome back to Welcome to the Party and Side Quest and tonight's game of actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
We gotta get the timing down on that.
Right? It is rough.
Not gonna happen in a one shot, but we can dream.
Oh, definitely.
Wait,
So
it's not
when-
supposed to be scattered?
Maybe
Echo.
it could be. Yeah, echo.
Mm.
So as we left off, everyone had suffered some sort of wound, with the possible exception of Christy. Megan's guts are, Veronica's guts are hanging out. Wentworth has half a face. Donnie has a sword leg.
Hell
You're welcome.
Honestly, got the best deal out of all of us.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
okay.
Tommy now has like half a shoulder, but a very strange and mysterious selfie. And you are all making your way back down to the foyer of this building, and out the front door. Is there anything that you guys want to do before you leave?
Hey, Tommy, how many likes you got for that photo?
Only 30. And only 10 retweets.
What the
I don't
fuck?
understand.
It
Yeah,
was good. Let me see it.
there you go. It's kind of blurry on the edges and stuff, you know.
What's up with that? Okay, yo, my ghost people,
Mm.
use your ghostiness and tell me why it looks like this, because I don't have the science to answer it.
I mean, it's all very theoretical. But
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I mean, it could be a number of reasons. Sometimes they just don't want to be seen, so they're
Maybe he's
like,
part vampire.
no, because see, if it was just Shia who was blurry, like I'd get that. But because it's also all the weird like wounds that are blurry, that doesn't make much sense to me. I haven't seen that before.
Well, maybe he's a demon and he's inflicting infernal wounds.
I don't know what that means. That sounds made up.
I think what we need to do
Well,
is we
all
need to-
words are made up.
Not now, Donnie.
Yesterday, I would have said a sword leg was made up, and here we are.
Just like Kirsty's about to just be like, listen.
With her knife.
Mine's bigger than yours.
Let's not
I can
start
use mine
this.
correctly.
Cheers, everybody.
And that's it. Stream done.
We did the thing. That was it. That was the whole point of this.
Just to get the those joke specifically.
We broke the producer.
We broke Fox.
This is great.
So as you insult each other's manhood, personhood,
Swordhood.
Sharp and pointy hood.
Specifically sword.
swordhood, you open up the front door of this building and you look out at the driveway, and the Pinto is still there and the black Mercedes is still there, but the entire driveway is covered in these 3 feet deep, 2 feet wide in diameter holes, making it very, very difficult to drive out of here. And you have no idea why someone would put all of these holes here.
Sand
But-
sharks.
Sharks.
Are they an endangered species?
Well, they're about as endangered as Bigfoot. So I think,
Bigfoot doesn't
Pretty
exist.
in danger.
The
Yeah.
chupacabra totally does.
Tommy, there's pictures of Bigfoot, and they look just like your picture of Shia LaBeouf. He's Bigfoot.
No,
His
no.
feet looked like a normal size.
See how blurry that photo is?
Or does he have size 13 men's shoes?
That is obviously purposely blurry. It can't be. You can't
Maybe he's some kind of
purposely blurry.
hybrid between Bigfoot and a human.
Hmm.
You know, we should
Really?
think about this very far away from this place.
I was gonna
Yes,
say I'd really
yes.
like my guts just back in my body.
Yeah, keep holding on to those. You're doing
Yeah,
great.
great. Are they in the right place still? I think I got it.
Yeah. Make sure you're lower. There you go. You're good. Untwist that.
I
We
feel
don't
very
want any knots.
Picasso. Oh, okay.
So you've got the Ford Pinto sitting there surrounded by holes. What do you do?
Who can drive? Wentworth probably has always had people drive for him, but Veronica needs to hold on to all of her guts.
And I guess I
She
can
can't have both
drive.
hands on the wheel. Tommy.
I can't drive. Driving is the leading cause of death.
I don't know. Your driving
That's,
foot
like,
might be
legit
gone
true,
as
by the
well.
way. Yeah, you might not be lit the brake.
Is it my right
I'll
foot or my
do
left
it,
foot?
you ninnies.
I don't
Let's
know.
go. Get in.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, is this an automatic or a stick shift?
Doesn't matter. I can drive it.
Ooh, all right.
Look at her.
Uh-huh. So you all hop in the car.
Fox.
We're getting some great producer reactions tonight.
Jazz
man.
hands. Mostly jazz
Um,
hands.
So you hop in the car, and Christy, you are behind the driver's side, and you turn the key and and you take your foot off, you check and make sure all of the lights are off, the radio is off, and you turn again and
That's what you get for using zombie gas.
We did.
I
sort of
knew
get
that
zombie
place
attack.
was bad.
Jimmy,
You know-
Jimmy cursed us. I bet Jimmy's the demon.
Never accept gas from a person who walks their own dad. I swear.
With like one eyeball.
And in true horror movie fashion, the car will not start. What do you
What if
do?
I kick it?
You hop out of the car and kick it?
Like
A little bit
I
of-
just go
little bit
like
of
the
percussive maintenance.
fawns and it like
And it sounds like it's going to start up for a moment, and you hear it turning, and it dies again. Oh.
Can we try your fancy car again? Maybe your car works.
I guess. Let me try. Just stay put. We'll figure this out.
Okay.
You
I
can
don't
try and
trust you
push
over there by
this.
yourself. You'll drive away without us.
No,
I
I'm
have
like,
to stay put.
Tommy, go with Christy. I'll watch over you fools.
Okay.
Okay, so Tommy and Christy head off towards the Mercedes. Who has the keys for the Mercedes?
me.
Imagine.
Okay,
yeah.
you have the keys.
She
Cool.
would.
So you head over to the Mercedes, you hop in, and you go to start it, and there's nothing. There's not even that sad car dying noise. You just turn it, and there's a click, 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 click. And what do? Do you try it again? Do you? The hood is still open.
If it sounds like that, the battery's dead.
Mm.
So, I mean, I can try to jump it with the Pinto, but neither one of them seems to have much juice in them, so.
You'd have to start the Pinto to do that.
Maybe we should
Well,
get Veronica. 'Cause,
That's where I was going with that.
yeah,
What?
she can speak to the
Leg.
dead. So if she can speak to the battery, it might be able to help us get out.
Maybe.
I'll take my
Veronica,
pentagram out again.
Yeah, I was like, take your pendulum out and see if you can.
Pendulum. Did I say pentagram? Pendulum.
Yeah, you
Tommy, you're,
no.
I'll take my pentagram pendulum out. No, I'll
this
take
is
my
why you're in charge.
it keeps changing. Is it when I hold the pendulum up? I put it away somewhere. But does it do the pentagram thing again, or does it do normal stuff this time?
Not over the car battery. It's just kind of loosely swinging a little bit over the car battery.
Is anybody there?
It swings kind of randomly.
Nobody's
Everyone
here.
else, while Veronica is doing this, where are you? Are you guys chilling in the other cars? Are you gathered around to watch?
I am calling my mom.
And in true horror movie fashion, you go to ring and you get through, and it's just like someone is crinkling tinfoil, and you can hear on the other
Mom?
side, Wentworth,
Mom?
Wentworth, honey,
Mom, can you hear me? Come pick me up.
Wentworth, is that you?
Mommy?
Where are you? What? I can't hear you. We've got a bad connection.
Can you- fuck's sake. You're so loud of technology.
And just like horrible static before the call disconnects.
Okay.
You've got gremlins in your phone.
I wasn't. Donnie, no. That's not how technology works.
Maybe there's a ghost interfering with it.
Okay,
Oh, could be that. That's true.
Yeah, that's always how they
no
communicate.
proof of that.
That happens.
Well, there's no proof of it.
Well, no, you know, like when you have your
Not
phone in your pocket
in
and you
that.
feel it ring, or you feel it vibrate, but then you go and nothing's happening.
The phantom
That's the
vibrations,
ghosts
yeah,
and
phantom
the
vibrations.
gremlins.
That's your brain tricking you. no ghosts, no gremlins.
We
Look
all
it up.
just like see this shit happening. Like
Yeah,
Christy
gremlins
can
totally
vouch that
exist.
fucking doll's head turned around on its own.
And gremlins do exist. My neighbor drives one.
And as you are all out here arguing, and Veronica, you're letting this pendulum kind of dangle over the top of this dead car battery, and it's aimlessly floating there. Just double checking, Tommy and Christy, were you still in the car, or had you hopped out to have this argument? Or was anyone still in the Mercedes?
Christy is Megan is muted. It had to happen once.
Yeah.
Okay. No, what was it? I got out of the Mercedes when Veronica tried to do her like ghost summoning thing.
You
So
hear.
I'm just watching.
You all, as you are gathered around the front of this car, you hear it start. Vroom, 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 and you almost without like moving out of park and into gear, it lunges forwards. What do you do?
Ghost car!
I was like, well, I'm not directly in front of it. I was off to the side because I had just gotten out and was just like. So I guess Veronica's
It's
the only
me.
one. Yeah.
I try and dive out of the way.
Roll for blood, Veronica.
Oh, I did okay!
Nice.
That's so exciting.
So, as this car shoots off, Veronica, you do this like heroic action movie, boom, boom, roll out to the side. And as you roll out to the side, you see a figure behind the wheel, and you all know who it is. And as this car goes dashing past you, Shia jumps out of the driver's seat and tackles Christy and takes her down to the ground. Christy, what do you do?
I nut him.
You nut him? Roll for blood to see if you successfully nut him.
Do it.
Yeah, Fox, me too.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, you succeed. What does this look like when you ouch?
So as I like go to nut like ice cream and I
Okay. All right, so as you go to kick him in the balls.
I knee and I push like simultaneously, so it's like hit then shove.
And he lets out a very high-pitched noise as he rolls backwards onto the gravel of this driveway. And he is hurting, but he kind of like jerks himself up, and he looks at you and just growls.
Get in the car!
It doesn't work. Oh no, it does work now.
The car is running now?
Yeah, right.
It has taken the Mercedes, he gunned it, it went down the driveway. It's maybe 150 meters away, kind of idling, making weird noises as it idles.
We all hobble to the car, I guess.
Christy, stab him and let's run.
Okay, you're all running?
Can somebody stab him? Like, do we still have
sword
Christy's
leg.
name?
We have pointy leg and
Oh, we
I
do have
my
a sword leg. Yeah.
I just need to convert meters to miles.
I just can't. I can't move.
I can put like my arm around your shoulder and like help you just like jump on his face with your foot.
I'm not. I mean.
Stomp on him.
Yes. I will give Donnie advantage if you help aim his sword leg at Shia's face.
Cut his head off. Roundhouse him.
So
I hope it can be badass.
It'd be real cool.
You rolled twice, which were both not great. I mean, my roll was successful.
Oh no.
No.
Oh.
so I could carry
Poor
you
sweet Donnie.
over to Shia. Oh.
All right.
I
How
have never rolled this many 6s in succession in my life.
Right?
and it's the game that you don't want to.
I know.
Oh no. Oh, okay. Tell me, what does this look like that Wentworth is able to do his part so well, and then what happens after that?
I'm gonna drag Donnie over. I'm like, okay, just stop, just walk, just stop.
But what? What? No, I can't. Ah!
And poor Donnie freaks out and just falls over onto his own butt.
I'm just
And
gonna do that little kid thing where you just kick while you're on your back.
Yep.
Stay away!
Scramble away.
And I'm going to Calvin ball this just a little bit because I just like this idea a lot. And instead of Donnie Shia getting you, you kick up with your sword leg and you actually slice Wentworth pretty good. Like...
Donnie, holy fuck! That was my femur.
And yeah, now Wentworth has this huge vertical gash running down his thigh, and he has lost another blood token.
What?
So, Donnie, you are lying on the ground, kicking your friend next to Shia, who is standing there growling up at Christy. As Tommy and Veronica, I think, are hobbling towards the Mercedes. Mm-hmm. What would you all like to do?
Hobble faster.
All right, go ahead and roll for blood, Veronica, just cuz. And Tommy, if you try and hobble faster, go ahead and roll for blood as well.
Yes. Sure.
It's a success for Veronica.
Thank God she needs it.
Right.
And a success for Tommy. Dang it, I had such a good thing if you guys failed.
Damn it, you were gonna die.
No, but it was gonna be really hilarious. So you two hobble over to the other Mercedes, and who's driving?
Me. I'm our usual driver in the group, so.
Okay. So you're like holding your guts with one hand and the wheel with the other. Where do you head to?
I'm gonna try and head to pick up my friends who are by Shia, and if I can hit Shia in the process, like, that's great.
Cool. Roll for blood again to see if you can hit and run over Shia.
Okay. Here we go. Nope.
Okay.
Dang.
Can I throw my phone at Shia? My dead phone?
Yes, roll for blood for that, please, Donnie.
Hey, don't throw my phone. My phone's still good.
You have your phone because you called your mom.
Oh yeah, I got it back. Thank you.
Oh, so the phone thing does not work.
Bummer.
Nor does the car thing. So you drive back full tilt towards him, and I just really like the image, Veronica, of you like holding your guts with one hand and you're driving with this intensity, like, fuck you, Shia!
Just do
it. Tommy, you go to lean out the passenger side and chuck your phone at him, and you just completely biff it, and the phone bounces off the inside of the windshield and it hits Veronica in the forehead. And she instinctively jerks the wheel in response to this, and you just go crashing full speed into a tree.
Great.
And the airbags deploy as you hit this tree, because it's a Mercedes, so of course it has like a gazillion airbags in the front. And Veronica, you already have a broken nose from when the door hit you earlier, and a black eye, if I remember properly.
Because my pendulum hit it.
And so the airbag pops open, and it actually knocks out like your two top front teeth.
So hot.
I'm trying to think what else there is on your face to damage. And
it's just blood and bruised and concussed and.
Can my airbag not have deployed and I hit my head on the dash?
If you would prefer that, sure.
Or do you have something
Faulty
worse?
airbag.
I mean,
Nope, you can totally do that. And it's one of those where they have the little Mercedes symbol over where the airbag would pop out. And so as your head bangs forward into it, you now have the Mercedes-Benz symbol like branded into your forehead. And a very, very bad concussion. Like, you are seeing double. There are little birds flying around your head, tweeting, like, as you have this, like, mark of the Germans upon you.
Fuck Germans.
I think that's where Mercedes is from.
I don't even know.
I have
couldn't
no
even
idea.
tell you.
I can't confirm nor deny.
Same. So I'm gonna say you're right.
Precision German engineering.
So is there any other action anyone would like to take? We've got 2 people concussed and hurt in a now thoroughly busted car. Sword leg and bleeding thigh. And
is the
Shia,
state-
who's just been nutted.
Is Shia still on the ground?
Shia has gotten up and is looking at Christy and growling.
Can
Damn
I
it.
try it? How
He's
close
just
is he?
enamored by me.
Can I like sweep my leg or something?
Yep, you're gonna roll for blood again.
Please
Okay.
Don't die.
You're so brave.
It's not bravery. It's like
Self-preservation.
survival. Oh my god.
Oh no. That's another 6. What?
Evan, what the
I
hell?
told you the sword was wasted on him.
Broken.
What elder beast did you piss off? So you go and swing your sword leg at Shia, and he just effortlessly catches it, and like the sword bites into his hand, but he shows like no sign of it hurting at all. And in fact, he like looks you dead in the eyes and like slides his hand down your sword, all the while staring at you, and then lifts you up by the sword leg and swings you around and slams you down into the hood of the Pinto, which is nearby. And
Ow.
and he is totally tenderizing his meat before he gets ready to eat it. Not like that, you gross things.
I heard tenderizing and I was like, okay, well, swipe right on that.
He has slammed you down.
Girl, stab him.
He has slammed you down on the hood of the car. You have felt ribs cracking everywhere. You are in bad shape, my friend. You are in bad shape. Does anyone else want to take an action?
Is like, so the car hit the tree. Is there any part of it that I can, run over, grab, and use as a weapon, like the bumper or like the rim of the tire, the wheel hubcap?
Yeah, I'll
Emergency
say
brake.
I think hubcaps are kind of flimsy, actually. So I'll
the
say
tires just bounce away from the crash.
yeah, let's say one of the tires is bounced away from the crash, and the bumper looks like you could like wrench it off if you got a pretty good tug on it.
Okay, I think I want to use the bumper as a weapon because I can also use it as like a defense.
Okay. Cool.
So is this gonna be like a 2-part roll, like 1 to rip it off and 1 to utilize it?
I'm gonna say you just managed to rip it off, so just roll to figure out how you use it.
A 4. I'm at a 4. Oh, fuck me.
Oh no.
A fucking leg wound. Damn it, Donnie.
Yeah, so you rip this bumper off, and
It was
looks
heavier than I thought.
Yeah, what does this look like as you're ripping this thing off?
It's awkward. I stumble back. I trip. It scratches me, and I'm pretty sure I just got tetanus. I'm able to get back on my feet, but it's awkward.
You fall backwards and trip over. You didn't see it there. You could have sworn it wasn't there before, but somehow there's a tree root there. And you have tripped over the tree root as you are running towards the bad guy. And you hop back up with this thing ready to go, but it's too late. Shia somehow has left Donnie on the Pinto already and is right there. And he grabs the bumper and takes it and just like jabs it javelin style into your gut.
Nice.
And you feel this thing go right in. So, is there anything that anyone else would like to do to try and take care of this guy?
I think I'm just gonna lay here for a minute.
Solid plan. I feel it.
Clumsily go out of the car and smash the Optimus Prime on his head.
You still have
You
the
still
Optimus
have
Prime. Yes. Go ahead and roll for blood. Let's see if someone can finally do something to take this guy down.
This is not gonna go well, y'all.
Optimus.
Wait,
how many blood are you at, Tommy?
Because I failed last one, so I was at 3.
You were at 3. Oh no.
No, it's going downhill real quick.
That is the way of this game. As it gets later, things get worse and worse.
Yep.
So you raise the Optimus Prime and prepare to bring it down, and you are just about to hit Shia when without even taking his hand off the bumper, without even breaking eye contact with Wentworth, he just reaches behind and grabs your wrist, and he takes it and twists it, and you feel something terrible pop in your elbow.
No, Shia LaBeouf is real.
And Shia is standing there and he's holding both of you and he just shouts, "This shit's better than riding unicorns!" and lets out a maniacal laugh. So, what would someone like to do?
Meanwhile, Christy's just standing there like,
Christy's just gonna stand there? Okay, Shia.
she's holding,
pulls-
she's holding her knife, because that was the next move, was like she stood up after she kicked him in the balls and was like, all right, let's go. And then the chaos happened with Donnie. And she's just like, well, crap, now what? And then
While Veronica yells out of her window, she like opens the door and like stumbles out and just goes, "Stab him!"
And as
how close am I to him at this point, though? Like, I'm still by the car.
I'm gonna say all of this is happening pretty close. Like, you're within striking distance if you make up your mind. But that also means he's within striking distance of you.
He's got his hands
Sorry,
full,
that was
though.
not meant that way.
Just grab my
Just,
leg.
nope,
and-
I'm done.
I'm sorry.
It was funny, it's fine. Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll charge and just be like, "You bitch, you ruined my Mercedes." And
At me or at him?
TBD. Shia. At Shia.
Go ahead and roll.
Fuck.
No!
So Shia sees you coming with this thing, and he looks at you, and he's going to say, "You think that's a knife? This is a knife!" As he holds up the bumper, which doesn't even make sense because it's not a knife.
Like, why is he Australian?
Because he's a really big Crocodile Dundee fan. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I'm buying it.
I love it.
And he takes the bumper and just wham, cocks you across the head with it. And you go down like a sack of potatoes. You just hit the ground. And like as you hit the ground, your head just hits it with the most terrible like watermelon thunk that you've ever heard. And the world just kind of goes white in front of your eyes for a moment.
Can I open the trunk of the
Can
Mercedes?
I fall with my knife aimed up, though? Like,
Yeah.
as I'm falling, and I'm just like, no.
Yeah, you don't stab yourself with your knife.
No, obviously, but like, just...
Yeah, sure, you fall and you land and your hand is holding the knife upwards. So, is there something someone else would like to do?
Yeah, can I open the trunk and is there anything in there? The two who are
Veronica,
in the
push
Mercedes?
him.
You
Okay,
open the
I
trunk
could
of
do that too.
You open the trunk of the car and there is like one of those My parents got this for me when I graduated. But you know those like jump starters that you don't need another car there? It's got like a built-in battery.
Oh, yeah, that big box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one of those. There's the spare tire kit, including the jack and the twisty thingy. Lug nut wrench, that's it. There's like an emergency kit for cold weather, because I know what's in that. So it's got like a blanket and some snow pants and a shovel and some cat litter.
I want the shovel.
All right.
And I'm gonna walk over to him and smack him over the head if I can.
Yeah, roll
If
for
I don't
blood.
die. Here we go. Yes!
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 Yes, finally. So Shia is there, and he is just lording it over Christy. Over Christy. He's just knocked her to the ground and is like preparing. He's grabbed her head by the hair, we'll say, and is preparing to take a great big bite. He's going to eat her ear. And he's just like putting his head down to bite when whack, you come up with the shovel. And where do you hit him? What does it look like?
I want to hit him like I'm holding my guts in one hand, have the shovel in the other, and it's like probably pretty sloppy and more of like a from up instead of like side swipe, so it's like a straight down on his head.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just want to like straight over the very crown of his head, just like smack it down like whack-a-mole.
You smack him down like whack-a-mole, and as he falls, he actually falls onto Christy's knife, and it goes into his side, and you see him kind of crumple around the wound a little bit, and he starts he lets out a horrible howl, and he just starts kind of dragging himself away from you guys a little bit, and with a speed that you would not believe a human was capable of, he manages to lurch himself to his feet and takes off running into the night. What do you all do?
I mean, we should go, right?
How?
I mean, y'all have fun with that. I'm unconscious.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh shit! How am I the one now who's standing? How did this happen? How did this happen?
Hey, I'm still physically whole. I'm just out of it.
Right.
It hurts to breathe.
Tell me about it.
I've broken a rib. It really does.
That was my selfie arm.
The worst. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna try and shake Christy awake so that I'm not the only one doing things here.
I think Tommy and Wentworth are still awake, yes?
Yeah.
Well, I'm awake, but I have a bumper through me.
You have a bumper wound in your gut and a giant gash down your thigh. Yeah.
Tommy's maybe able to help if he's not mourning the loss of his selfie arm too bad.
Yeah, I'll try to
Wait,
help.
so is the
with my
bumper like this is Wentworth and bumper, or is it like bumper?
So it had been, I've got a pencil. It had been like that, and then Shia actually pulled it out to hit you with the bumper.
Oh, okay, so it's not sticking out anymore.
It's not sticking out
There's
anymore.
just a gaping wound.
I had this
It's just
image
a-
of like the bumper like completely through my mouth. He's like, no, this is fine.
It's fine. I'm fine.
We can retcon that if you guys want it, because
That's
that's
not- we're good, we're
hilarious.
good, we're good.
No, we're fine.
Okay.
I can move like this. It's just like all my organs are crushed, and I don't know how long it'll be before the septic fluid kills me.
Mhm.
Same.
Like Veronica's literally like, bleh.
Yeah.
Yum.
I don't know how your body hasn't poisoned itself.
I haven't gotten an infection yet somehow. It's magic.
Bizarre.
The healing magic of the ghosts going through me because I believe.
Why are you all talking about poison? My arm.
Just glare at you.
Tommy, from your elbow is just like, it's not a joint anymore. It's two pieces of arm held together by skin.
Oh.
Like it's just flopping down there.
Maybe you can attach Christy's knife to your arm.
Well, maybe I'll get a sword arm this time.
What do you folks want to do? So there's the Pinto, which wouldn't start. There's the Mercedes, which has been plowed into a tree. There's a driveway full of holes. You know there's a gas station about 10 miles, 16 kilometers away.
Bleed.
Thank you for the kilometers.
Bone. Wheeze.
Yeah.
Hug your teddy and pray for death.
Yeah.
Well,
Just wait for it to happen. We wait long enough.
Can Tommy rip out the skin from the arm? Just take his arm out the rest of the way out, and then kneel over it and be like, "Oh, gods of anti-shy, please turn my arm into a selfie stick with camera."
Anti-shy.
I'm gonna say, roll for blood and let's see if this happens.
I'm so curious what the negative consequences will be when he fails.
I mean, he can probably still rip his arm off.
And he failed.
Oh, and there we go.
Yep, there it is.
Yep. So
I have never seen this many sixes in 15 years of tabletop gaming.
Roll 20 is rigged.
I feel like the curse of Will Wheaton is upon us.
It is. Who saw it? Anyone see him recently? Did it rub off on you?
What does this look like as you try and pull your arm off? Like, how does this fail so badly?
Whole skeleton comes out your arm.
Turns out the arm wasn't attached just by the skin, so some of the muscle from his chest comes out with it as well.
Oh.
We need to check in for this.
That's so...
Constitution. No, the wrong one.
That's so disgusting.
Gnarly.
So you have managed to pull more of yourself out and done way more damage to yourself than you intended to. And as you, not just your elbow is gone now, but your entire arm is gone now. And this is also
It's a good look.
Two of these games have disarmed someone.
How come it didn't turn into something like Donnie's? It's just an arm.
And
The
you
selfie stick.
requested that it turn into a selfie stick. Let me.
And it becomes a tripod.
That's a 10, and it's on the not murder, just weird. And you are hoping for for your arm to transform into a selfie stick, but that's not what happens. Instead, you look up and you see a gardener standing there, and he's just looking at you all. And this gardener, it's weird, because you would swear that you only see him in the MCU, because he looks exactly like Stan Lee.
Yes. Stan. Is Stan the anti-shy?
So you look up and you are holding your own arm looking up at this gardener who looks a lot like Stan Lee. And he just looks down at you and is like, "Son, what on earth are you doing?"
Excelsior?
I'm dead.
And Stan Lee looks down at you and says, "You all look like you need to get to a hospital."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you call one? Maybe send like a helicopter service.
Preferably one without cybertronic scanning.
I'm in
Any helicopter.
No
Literally
government run Medicare.
Literally.
I just got the chip out of my brain last week.
sound like my grandma.
I know. I was just like, oh
Black
no,
hair.
I know too many people like this.
And Stan Lee looks down at you and says, well, we got a landline back in the gardening shed. If any of y'all who can follow me if any of y'all who can walk want to follow me, we can head back there. And there's a first aid kit back there too, I guess. So come on.
Yeah, we'll put a Band-Aid on it. That'll make it better.
And he starts walking around the back of the...
Better. I have one important question.
Mhm.
Did my arm turn into Stanley?
Let's say yes.
He just materialized out of its attached arm. You had Stan Lee inside you all along.
Wow. Feeling a friendship with Stanley.
Oh, dying, I'm dead.
He starts to lead you all around the back of the house to the gardening shed.
Is somebody carrying Donnie?
I no longer have the
I
abdomen.
can't walk.
I don't have an abdomen either. I can like one arm support him as he
Yeah, we could, like,
hobbles.
Hobble, yeah.
Yeah, we'll hobble together.
And every single footfall is like a
Oh, it sounds awful.
So you guys are doing like the two drunk frat guys after
Oh.
way too much of a night.
Vomit in the corner.
Well, at least I have two lungs.
I don't think I do. I don't think I have that anymore.
So you all follow Stanley around the back of this mansion over to the garden shed, and he opens it up, and sure enough, there's like this old phone with like one of the rotary dials hanging off the wall. And he picks up the phone and kind of listens for a minute, and then he like does the thing where he like taps the hangy uppy button a bunch of times. And he looks at you and he says, I'm not hearing a dial tone, y'all.
Of course.
Are any of you guys want to check?
No.
Aren't you a watcher? Can't you just like tell someone?
Does it materialize somewhere else?
Son, I don't know how to tell you this, but comic books aren't real.
Oh.
Was that reaction in character? Because that was adorable.
Can we just like hang out here until he's gone? And by he, I mean Mr. Labeouf.
I mean, yeah, sure. I got a pack of smokes in the corner if any of y'all want one.
No, where's that first aid kit?
Oh yeah, let me grab that. And he turns back around and he starts digging through a bunch of stuff. And as you're there, you look around. It's a garden shed. It's full of gardening implements. There's a ride-on mower. There's a push mower. There's a weed whacker. There's a hedge trimmer. There's a chainsaw.
I don't like where this is going.
What on earth do you mean?
If we get to them first, we'll be fine.
There's a bunch of fertilizer. There's slug repellent. There's little gardening trowels. There's a surprisingly cute pair of gardening gloves with like flowers on them and a cute little paisley print.
Cute.
Who knows what they're doing there?
Is there a garden gnome?
There is, with a cute little red hat. It's standing right inside the door, and it's holding a little fishing pole that says "Gone" and a sign at its feet that says "Gone fishing."
Duh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And this is so strange, but you would swear it's staring at you.
Oh.
Ooh, grab the petrified gnome.
Does anyone grab the petrified gnome?
Oh, fine, I'll
It could
get
be
it.
used to ward off evil spirits.
I'm gonna smash it though, because I hate gnomes. And in front of Stanley, I'm just gonna like kick it on the ground. Well, God, I think kicking is a little too hard for me to do. So I'll just like gingerly like cat smack it over.
The gnome falls over with a thunk and kind of like half rolls over and catches on its fishing pole.
Ugh.
Like it doesn't even break.
Okay.
You see on the bottom of it, there's something glued there. And it's kind of hard to make out what it is, but there's definitely something there.
Can we tell if I even bend over to look closely?
It's some sort of paper thing. And Stan Lee sees you looking at it, and he reaches down and he grabs it and he's like, that's nothing. Y'all don't need to be paying no attention to any of that now. Let's just find you that first aid kit. And he grabs it and like stuffs it in a pocket and turns back around and starts rummaging through all of the stuff again.
Left or right pocket?
Right.
For checking.
So, true story, Shannon never learned left from right.
I do this on my own, or I just have to
I
run
do this all the time.
Remembers because I have a tattoo on my left wrist.
Oh, you're
Oh, there you go.
That works.
That says left.
Left, right.
Just in case.
Yeah, so anyway, he sticks it in his right pocket and turns around and starts rummaging, and he finds the first aid kit and like thrusts it at you very suddenly, Wentworth. And then he's like, I'm pretty sure we got some more stuff back here. Give me just a minute. And how about you get started with that? And he turns back around again.
Yeah, no, wait. Look, can you help me look through this bag? I've forgotten all the names and all the supplies in this medical bag. And
I thought you were supposed to be some sort of fancy med student.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
You're mistaken. That's my brother. I'm just a teacher. You know, nothing important. Fun stuff.
And Stan Lee, who had been looking, kind of freezes for a moment, and then he turns back around and looks at you and he says, now why would you go telling fibs like that to a little old man like me?
You don't know him. How would you know that's a fib?
What do you mean I don't know that's a fib? Weren't you all talking inside about how you're a med student?
Did I see the arm turn into Stanley?
Yes.
Okay, so I know that maybe they share some thoughts there.
I don't know this.
That's fair.
This is terrifying.
Can I just kind of like reach behind me and grab whatever the first tool is that I find?
Yep, give me a D6 roll. This one is not a roll for blood. Just give me a D6.
I really don't like this scary old man.
The old man.
Okay. What did you roll?
3. Oh no.
You grab a chainsaw.
Yes. I'm holding it. Not using it yet, but I'm holding it.
So you're holding this not yet turned on chainsaw out out in front of you. And you and Stan Lee is just kind of looking at you. Why would you be telling fibs? And he looks you down and he stares right down the barrel of you and goes, girl, do you even know how to turn that thing on?
I try to turn it on. I rev it.
Roll for blood now.
Oh no.
Let me tell ya.
Oh no. Yeah. No.
Oh! You go to turn on the chainsaw, but you forget to engage the choke, which most chainsaws still have manual chokes. Fun fact. And so you pull it and it just doesn't do a darn thing. And Stan Lee just laughs at you. And he grabs the chainsaw out of your hands, presses the choke button, and it starts right up. And he takes this chainsaw and just boom, and it goes right in like big old golf swing right up the front of your torso. And all of the guts that you had barely been holding in you're not going to be able to hold them in so good anymore. And not only that, your rib cage is not so much a cage anymore. It's a rib open door.
No.
Can I like try to have maybe swung my sword leg out to like parry the chainsaw?
If you want to roll for blood, sure.
I mean, what's the worst case scenario? Like it hits me instead of Veronica?
I mean, at this point, one of us is dying. If not both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty hard to come back from.
I still have one blood left. Got one.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't know if it's worth me using up.
Don't. Save yourselves. The doctors are gonna look at me in the hospital and go, "What the fuck?"
All y'all are still in this garden shed with now a crazed Stan Lee with a working chainsaw, by the way.
I had a dream like this once too.
I think before all this happened, Tommy would have walked over to the cigarettes. Is there a lighter or matches?
Yeah, there's a lighter next to him.
Cool. If he was gonna try and cauterize his wound with the lighter.
Okay. That's going to take a while.
He has no idea what he's doing.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So that is hardcore, yo.
He just ripped his own arm off. I didn't think it could get more hardcore.
The most metal of all of our characters.
Tommy, yo. Tommy. Yeah, you hold up this tiny little lighter to the stump that used to be your shoulder, and the garden shed is filled with the stench of burning protein. And, yeah, and as you do this, you notice that in this garden shed, there is not only the fertilizer and slug repellent, but there's 2-stroke engine oil for this chainsaw and for the gas motor for the lawnmower and all the rest of it, as well as you're standing there purposefully burning yourself.
Wentworth will whisper to Christy, grab the flammables.
I'm sorry, what?
The flammables.
The flammables?
The flammables.
Oh.
These? The fires.
Oh, why didn't you just say that? Yeah, so
Christy, come on.
So I grabbed the flammables.
Okay,
I
excellent.
just kind of stare at Wentworth like, well, now what? I grabbed them.
We need to throw them on Stan Lee, and Tommy needs to light him on fire, and we need to get out.
I mean, all right. And I just yeet.
All right. Christy and Tommy, both of you roll for blood. Let's see if we can make this work.
You know, I have 1 blood.
Oh, I didn't. You can try and hand the lighter off to someone else if you want.
I already yeeted the flammables at this point. Stan Lee is just soaked in lighter fluid.
I mean, even if I roll a 1, nothing happened. Or it's still a failure, right?
Tommy, how low are you?
I have 1 blood.
Oh, I have 3.
Whoops. Okay.
Give me that later. Stop burning yourself. Give me that later.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Thank you.
Isn't this
Okay.
how we do it?
Wentworth, go ahead and roll blood. And Christy, if I remember
Fucked it up.
properly. Oh no! And Christy, if I
Yes.
remember properly, you were at 3 blood, right? And you
Yeah.
rolled a 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's 2 fails,
Oh,
unfortunately. So you throw the gasoline and fertilizer, and you manage to get it all over Stan Lee and everything else in the shed, including all of you. And Wentworth, you don't see this, and you just click on the lighter, and the entire shed goes whoosh.
Did I just kill us?
Some of you.
Bye.
Bye.
Veronica's finally dead
Never
took
got
me
my
long enough.
self-regard.
after
And-
bleeding out for like 90% of the game.
I'm the new Shia now. I get to be. No, I'm the one who owns this place.
I love it.
And Donnie and Tommy and Veronica, I am so sorry.
Team Spooky's gone. It's our whole team.
Skeptics
Team
win.
Spooky, you are all on fire.
Bye.
And you try and stop, drop, and roll inside this hut, but you're all far too injured to get out of the garden shed, so you're just stop, dropping, and rolling on
Into the fire.
in a burning shed. And Wentworth and Christy, you two manage to run out of the shed as you are also on fire, and you try and stop, drop, and roll, and you are followed by Stan Lee, also on fire. And he is just this terrifying presence following you as he's standing there with his chainsaw, still running somehow. And now his chainsaw is on fire. And it's like that really terrible Nicolas Cage movie where he rode the motorcycle around. And was yes, thank you. I don't even think that was a Marvel one. So Stan Lee is like extra pissed. And he is coming after you. And you see as he's burning, this mask of Stan Lee old manness is burning away. And underneath is the young, beautiful, terrifying face of Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Damn it.
What would you like to do?
I'm gonna look wide-eyed to Christy. Now what? What the fuck? I just fucking killed people. My mama's gonna be pissed at me.
We have one chance. And she's like, looks at Wentworth and is like, roll. And we just,
We just like
On,
roll
like-
around.
yeah, like we like roll like we're going downhill.
Okay. I'm in.
And you guys are trying to roll away from Shia.
We
Yeah.
can roll faster than we can run.
Honestly, as long as I can like hold the whole of my innards in, I don't want to lose anything along the way. Like, oh, there goes my liver. Slap back in there. Hold on tight.
All right, both of you give me a roll for blood to see if you manage to roll away from flaming chainsaw wielding Shia.
Shit.
Oh, Christy.
Did I lose any points for the fire damage?
We both did.
Yeah,
did?
you would
Okay.
have lost 1, so you're down to 2.
2.
Yeah.
And I did not succeed.
Oh.
Somebody give us some bits, quick.
Yeah. In the chat, you are their only chance now.
You are only hope.
So, so what is this? Okay, as you two are rolling away down the hill, you're leaving a path of scorched lawn behind you, and rolling desperately towards the distant gas station.
Making
and
progress.
and you see Shia come up with the chainsaw, with the flaming chainsaw, and he just laughs. And he says, I bet you wish you hadn't panned Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull on Rotten Tomatoes now, motherfuckers!
It was so bad.
It was so awful. And he brings the chainsaw down over both of you. And Wentworth, you had already gotten a big slice up the middle. This one comes and forms just like an X with the other one. And there is like nothing left to you anymore. You can hardly even crawl at this point. And Christy, you are rolling and he gets you right in the back, and it cuts right down along the center of your spine, and it's just like If you've ever seen if you've ever seen a butcher working on a pig and getting the baby back ribs out, getting the ribs out.
Oh dear, I can
It's
imagine.
One person has.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. It's like that. The ends of the bones just pop right through the skin. And you just feel like the entire right side of your body going numb as all of these bones start popping their way free. And at this point, you two are desperately trying to get away from the still flaming, chainsaw wielding Shia. You have one more chance to do something. What, if anything, do you try to do?
I have, where'd it go? I had my hand on my like little switchblade thing, and so like as he goes to stab me, I like just kind of to the back, and like I try to fall backwards onto him and just go, I never saw that stupid movie anyway.
And go ahead and roll with advantage, because you have hurt the most vulnerable part of Shia, which is his ego.
Son of a bitch.
Can you roll again?
I would hope so.
No.
I mean, yeah.
And I'll give you this tiny, tiny victory that as you bring the knife up, you see this spasm of pain cross his face. And you suspect it's not because he's actually on fire, but because you managed to insult one of his films. And he brings the chainsaw down, and the knife sticks in the chainsaw, and the chainsaw jams. And it is no longer a usable weapon. And he looks at it and stares at you angry and takes that knife that he just had, and he leans and he grabs it out of the chainsaw, and he leans down to you and says, I still made millions. And just cuts your head right off, and it just goes bounce, blunk, 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 blunk down the hill ahead of you.
Fox, you're not helping.
It's not my job to.
Wentworth, at this point, it's just you and knife-wielding Shia. Is there anything you can think of?
Honestly, to commemorate my good friend Tommy, I'm gonna pull out my phone, take a good selfie of me and Shia, upload it, and let's be real, Wentworth gets at least 500 likes in like the first minute.
And the last thing that you see as this photo of you and behind you a flaming Shia uploads and all of these likes start pouring in is as the world starts to go white, as you're looking at this phone screen, you just see another figure coming up behind the flaming Shia. But before you can identify who it is, your wounds become too much for you, and you go unconscious, and that is the end of poor Wentworth.
I lived the longest, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you made it the furthest. So good job.
And as you are there dead, the camera pulls away, and Shia kind of gives himself a shake, and the flames magically go out. And the camera pulls back even further to reveal who it was that was coming up next to him. And it's
Deadly.
Not
Christy
quite.
Carlson Romano.
It is a woman, a very beautiful woman in her, let's say, late 20s, early 30s. It is the producer of the supposed reality TV show. It's Megan. It's not quite the colleague from all of the movies. It's not quite Megan Fox, but it looks an awful lot like her, except with bright, bright pink hair. Yes, that's right. she turns and looks at all of these corpses strewn about the estate, and Megan Foxbar turns to Shia and says, I told you I would make you famous again, darling. The end.
Oh, goodness.
That was great.
Oh,
Bless
up.
Great.
That was really fun.
So
much
before we
good death.
so before we have to go, let's take just a couple of minutes. We'll go around the table. Everyone tell us who you are, where we can find you online. If you have any projects coming up that you would like to plug, now is the time to go ahead and do that. We'll go again on my screen. So Meg, you are up first.
Of course. Hello. So yeah, I am Meg or Megan, whatever. You can find me on Twitter at Narnia's Pants. I pretty much just, like I said before, ramble about K-pop, school, and my own self-procrastination. Like the essay I've got to write in about 45 minutes.
Good.
College life. And you can see me later on in December. I might hop into some of our other one-shots earlier in the semester. We'll see what happens. But for right now, I've got Numenera coming up on December 9th and a fun D&D, like dungeon crawly one-shot I am also going to be in on December 16th.
Awesome. And are all of those things welcome to the party, or are they on other channels as well?
No, they're all WTTP.
Brilliant. So Carly, where can we find you and your beautiful self on this wonderful wide internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Carly, CarleIGH 221B. And then Instagram, if that's your poison, at CarlyOB. I also have a baking Instagram that I haven't updated in a very long time, but it still exists. Here's the thing. The next recipe I've been trying to do has hazelnuts in it, and I have had so much trouble finding them. So
Fair.
I'm working on that. But it's GBBO wannabe, WANNABE, because I'm obsessed with the Great British Bake Off, and I'm working my way through their cookbook. So yeah, that's me. You can find me there.
Awesome. And eventually I will want to see more delicious frosted British baked goods,
I will
because
get
that
them
just
there.
sounds absolutely fantastic. So our final survivor, Wentworth.
Yeah. My name is Bianca Zalda. I can be found on Twitter and Instagram as at Bianca Zalda. I'm also a member of the Broadswords, all-woman non-binary D&D podcast. I also am a member in another podcast called Facades of Gods, noir genre using the Fate Core system. Working on a project called NPCs really soon, hoping to release something about that, where the players play NPCs and guests come in and fuck shit up. So it'll be good.
Nice. Facades of Gods is a lot of fun, by the way, if folks haven't heard, and it's got like 2 different levels of narrative going on. So I would highly recommend it if you're a big fan of like meta humor and stuff, because it's great.
It's a good mix of audio drama and actual play.
Mm-hmm. Tommy, where can we find you hanging out online?
Hey, yeah, I'm Wild Engineered. You can find me here on Welcome to the Party on Thursdays for some Ask the New Generation, kind of a hack by Nerdy Teddy. That's kind of a Power Rangers Super Sentai. On Fridays, I GM my own game of Mask the New Generation, super late over here on 12:30 a.m. EST. That's technically Saturday. Whatever. Yeah, so there's that. On Tuesdays, I'm on Greyhawk Channel for some D&D, and next week on Monday, I'm actually GMing a one-shot on side quests of 10 Candles. That's a true tragic horror where everyone dies at the end.
Mm-hmm. So is it also likely to have the phrases blood, blood everywhere, or does it go like more actually scary?
It's definitely more true horror.
Okay.
I mean, depends on where the players take it, but.
Mm-hmm. So if you enjoyed tonight and like being scared, that might be a really fun one to check out. Thank you so much for playing, by the way. This is our first time playing together, and it's been an absolute blast. So thank you. And Devin, where can we find you on this great wide internet?
Mostly for RPG stuff, I can be found on Twitter at DonMayGoldenSun. This Wednesday, we've been trying to start this a stream for a while. We're gonna be doing a D&D stream, Age of Sails kind of deal, lots of nautical nonsense, and I'm going to be belting out sea shanties on the regular. So if that interests you at all, that'll be this Wednesday, and then every second Wednesday after that. And that's the Dungeon Masters is what we're calling.
So Dungeon Masters with an S H?
Yeah, Sean Connery. Yes.
Okay. Very Sean. Does anyone in the party have a terrible Sean Connery accent?
That'll be the DM. The DM will be doing it.
Yes, that makes me so happy. And I have been your Shia master, as this game calls it. And that makes me feel so weird when I say that. But it's also so great. I go by Ulfrig online. I don't spend a whole lot of time on the socials aside from our Discord. So I like to use this time to give a shout out to other people who I think are doing really fun things online. And I would like to give a huge shout out to Variant Roles and their game The Watch, which is this like giant metaphor for toxic masculinity and amazing relationship driven role play, being DM'd by the Broadsword's own beautiful Victoria Rogers, who is absolutely killing it, fam. You got to check this out. Seriously, it will give you all of the feels in the best possible way.
Gets real emotional.
It gets deep
like
real fast. Like, don't watch it at work.
No.
Oh, Jim, don't watch it at work, but watch it at home because it's really good. And that's about all that I have. I might turn things over to our beautiful producer, Fox, who I think I will not, because Fox is telling me, please don't do that. So instead, I'll just give one more thanks to our beautiful sponsors, which is Roll20, Tabletop Loot, So Nerdware, and Devin Rue for helping us out. Thank you to everyone who gave us any support, subscribes, follows during the entire stream. This is why we do it, to make us happy, but also to make all of you happy, because that's awesome. Thank you to everyone who checked out our Discord and Patreon as we were doing it. And I think that's it for us tonight. So all that's left
Mention who we're raiding.
All that's left is to get us ready to raid, which is
Dumpstat Charisma.
Dumpstat Charisma. So get your emojis out, people, because it's time to get all barbarian on them. Let's do the thing. Yeah. Cool. And thank you everyone so much.
Thank you.
Ooh.